It's really early in the morning. It's 2:19 a.m. I'm up because originally I was going to play World of Warcraft with Skynet. Unfortunately, I guess because I slept a little later than I was expected to. He tried to call me about 11ish p.m. to join us in World of Warcraft, and I was asleep. And it's just eating breakfast. So, don't really have a lot going on. I didn't even announce the stream out to anybody yet, so I'm gonna get those stream announced out because the fact is I don't know who's up anyway, if anybody. But anyway, I just so I woke up around 12:30, and I tried to contact Skynet to see if he wanted to still play WoW, and apparently like two ships passing in the night, it didn't see each other's messages, so there was nothing I could do because he already went back. He already did some other things. So here I am, and obviously there's no one here yet. I don't expect much to happen at this time in the morning, but it'd be nice if I could get a few people to come on, just to talk about everyday stuff, and yeah. So I don't know who's coming, who's not coming, when they're coming, how they're coming. But it was just generally I got up and I was hoping to, like I said, play some World of Warcraft. It just didn't happen. So I'm just trying to get this out to everyone. See, in case somebody else wants to show up. Maybe some people on my Discord might come in. I don't know. But we'll see. I'll put on Kermit and Friends too. I don't think I'll have too many Kermit and Friends people here. A lot of people don't stay up this late. I mean, some people do. I mean, there's time zones in every country, and they're all different. So some countries somebody might be up, but they may not be regulars on the show, so they may not know that I'm up. Or if I wanna bored. Okay, so put some links out to people and see who wants to come on, if anybody. One of the things about all the stuff that was going on this morning or afternoon is that I don't, as I said, it's in the kitchen, so I don't really want to drag anybody into an argument because I don't really think it's appropriate. But so the biggest issue I have is I'm being villainified. That's what I feel like. People, I mean, depending on who you talk to, it's just some people saying, you're a villain, you're evil, you're dark. No, I'm not. Actually, I'm a very light person. I just get this feeling sometimes that some people really don't understand who I am, what I do, why I am here. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. I say this for watching. I want to say thank you for coming to the channel. But one of the things is hello, how you doing, Sierra? Well, in short, they said it's not a police matter, and they really kind of wondered why it was Why were they being dragged into something that is not a police issue? That's all I'm going to say right now. But even then, I woke up after taking a nap to play World of Warcraft. You know, I was just, Ed was still angry, for lack of a better term. Oh, wait a minute. Did I send this one? Yeah, I did. Okay, so I said to Craig. So I said to Krista. I have no idea. She's probably not up yet, but she will be in a little bit. All right, so let's send it to Krista too. So I talked to the officer, and like I said, and she said to me, since you guys share an apartment together, it's pretty small. You guys have to work together as a group because you have to find something that works for both of you because it's a tight space. And it is. It's a small apartment, and there's doesn't have a lot of room for much going on. And since I'm going shopping with Krista this morning, I figured, well, okay, I'm up. I might as well do something productive. We don't know that, but it was on wheels, so I was able to wheel it out of my way. So we don't know anything about where the fridge came from. The landlord doesn't even know where it came from. So it could be a tenant's refrigerator that maybe it was a rental or something they had. A friend bring them up. We don't know whose it is. So we don't have any idea where the refrigerator came from. But it's certainly not ours. And not saying a refrigerator isn't beat up and old and tired, and it is old, it is beat up, it is tired, but it's not ours. And so for that reason, we're not going to use that fridge unless we find out who it is from. Does it work even? We don't even know if it works. It looks like it's, I didn't look at the date code on the refrigerator, see when it was made. It looks like probably 1990s, which means it probably will be full of R860 or R6 or 600 refrigerant if it is. Those are the hydrocarbon-based refrigerants known by propane and butane. That is becoming the main refrigerant for many modern refrigerators. So, which means if there's any leaks, because it didn't look like it was traumatized or beat up, so maybe not. But you gotta be careful because, those refrigerants are flammable. Whereas mine has good old R11, so, mine's R22. So mine's the old Freon-based refrigerant. Stan says, does Ed have $50 to cover the cost of his ticket and gas money for the coming Saturday night Providence Bruins versus the Bridgeport Islanders? Let me ask him. Ed, Stan wants to know if you got the money for your hockey ticket.
It's not this Saturday. It's the Saturday.
What's that?
This Saturday's already gone.
Well, he wants to know if you got the money for the AHL hockey tickets for yourself.
Yeah, I'll let him know on that this week.
It's this weekend.
Next weekend, you mean?
He said, does Ed have the $50 to cover the cost of his ticket and gas money for this coming Saturday, that's this week? Night Providence Bruins at the Bridgeport Islanders. It's this weekend, Ed.
I don't know right now. I gotta check my finances. I just paid all my bills, so.
Stan, I don't know yet. You're gonna have to call him in the morning and ask him. I don't know if he has money or not. Or in the afternoon, because I'm gonna be up for a few hours. He's gonna go lay down for a few hours, and then I will Why are people sending you the catalog? I don't know why we're still getting catalogs here. I have no clue. But at least now we're getting more of the holiday ones, which are kind of a little more interesting. Okay. So I don't know what the story with the catalogs are. Also, Stan CT, the person you pulled up the information on is not the woman I know. Don Marie Galati. Gillotti. She is a Winston resident, and she has been around a long time. You gave me the information, someone named Don Marie Colette. I don't know a Don Marie Colette. Okay? Let's explain that. So I had no idea who this Don Marie Colette was that you talked about. Like I said, Don Marie Galati is an older lady. Probably not much older than me. I think she's about 2 years older. She's your typical Winston resident. Nothing major, nothing exciting, but is part of the community at large and has been for a long time. But you know, the one thing I do want to cover is something that Pepper Princess covered, and I thought it was because I just saw the Pepper Princess's video on this. A lot of people don't really understand what's going on with the economy. A lot of the people don't use the internet as we do. A lot of them are not as internet savvy. And they're trying to just make a basic living. She's talking about 2 landscapers that were working for a country club in her area. The car broke down, and because of the high cost of electricity, that they were keeping, they lived in 2 different places, and were keeping the foods in the refrigerator on ice blocks because they couldn't afford to keep paying the electric bill. That is a really, that's a reality. That's a fact. That really is happening. People are struggling with the cost of living right now. And so she said she didn't know, if there's some reason why there's some kind of disconnect between some people and the potential of being wealthy. I know that some people say to me, well, your channel doesn't exactly bring home a ton of money. Wasn't supposed to be. It does bring home some pocket change, which does help offset the cost. That's what it was for. And so, yeah, I don't really see my channel as being a major income resource at all. It is nice for pocket change, but it's not really going to be a big deal. Michelle, leave Skynet alone at this hour. He's probably sleeping. Or maybe he is, because I did leave him a message, but he didn't get back to me, so that's all I know. So, Kristen and I are going to go down to Walmart tomorrow to take care of a few things, and we're going to go for lunch. And, so that's what we're going to do there. A little lunch at Walmart. So if I seem like I'm a little reserved, it's because I am being a little reserved because of some things that were said tonight that were a little bit you keep bringing them up. I said to myself, I don't really want to discuss it anymore. So there's nowhere to say anything about that. So in the case of the 2 guys that the Pepper Princess was talking about, their car had broken down, and they needed to get the ice home. What she says is what they bought is that they were buying the name brand sodas, beers, and cigarettes. And I said to myself, well, it sounds like these are two men that worked at a country club. They were in her area, and they were just living in one guy was living in a trailer that looks like it clearly had seen better days. And the reality is the economy's right now has really become a very dark environment. No one really talks about it because everybody's like always rushing out and saying, "Oh, everything's okay. Just gotta pay more. That's all." And then everything you still pay. You still pay more, and you can still do the same old stuff. Well, it doesn't really work that way. There's no practical way to keep paying more. You can only get so much out of the sponge before the sponge cannot release any more money. Or in this case, not water, but money. If water is money, the sponge is dry. Right? People have been pointing this out to the federal government and to congressmen, and the congressmen have lost total touch with the constituents. They don't get it. And some people keep saying it's the poor people's fault. Sometimes it seems that the poor people don't really have an understanding of what's going on. Now, what are you going to do? Either you're poor and you're trying to make ends meet. You're not going to have money for frivolous extras like internet and cell phone plans with data and all this. They're just not going to have the resources. Is that homeless campers? No, a lot of them are gone. They took them all out. The one at the camp at Cumberland Farms. I don't know if there's. I didn't see a camper. But one of the things, Stan, is it keeps saying to me, "Oh well, Jimmy's gonna throw you out." Oh, he has to legally evict me to do that, and I don't know if the housing court is going to support his reason for evictions. But I will just say that much. But I really think that if I did leave here on my own volition, that Ed would not be able to provide for himself. I don't think he could do it. But I need a bigger place, and he needs his own place, and he can't afford to go anywhere else, and so maybe I should still just basically pack my bags and leave anyway. That's the sad reality. He can't afford to go anywhere. I'm more able to leave than he is. But I don't really think it's worth it for me to leave and go to another place in Winston. I think it's the state is... for the most part, the state has pretty much gone to the dogs. In fact, there's a lot of people like those guys the Purple Prince just talked about living here in Connecticut that choose to have soda and beer and cigarettes versus paying for an electric bill. Living in substandard housing, just struggling to make it through. Like the homeless camper you mentioned. That homeless camper, as far as we know, could actually be there with permission of the property management team over their Cumberland Farms. They may actually be part of their security detail. We don't know. I haven't seen the camper. But all I know is it's 4 in the morning. There's not much going on right now. Maybe this is the kind of show where we can talk about things that are a little bit on the darker side, because the fact is that no one's really going to be watching it until later. I was hoping Krista would be on, but obviously she's probably not going to be on for about another... she usually starts chatting with me about 4 in the morning, so I know what's going on with that. I don't know. But the one thing is, Stan, is I really wish it would stop putting me down. He makes me sound like My channel is nothing to him, but, just a waste of. He said you could be working for the man, you could be making money selling repairing computer gear, or you could be, Stan, I'll tell you why I'd rather not. Ed's kind of similar, but there's a different reason. It's because I do have a side job, which is YouTube. These senior complexes are going to want to say, I'm sorry, we want to see your 1099 case. We want to see, all your revenue. Your rent will be changing every month based on, on money you coming in with revenue from YouTube. And I'm like, no, I'd rather remain independent because that's the way I've always been. I've always been an independent person. So if I choose to do something like that, it's going to be pretty much near the end of life decision because I'm not going to do it now. I'm still fairly young. I'm 54. I'm going to be 55, in a year. And I do not want to be dependent on the system ever more so, because the truth is once you get in that, it's like a fly falling into a pitcher plant. It doesn't take long. The poor fly slips on the side of the pitcher plant's funnel, and then it gets stuck down in the digestive juices of the plant and just eats them up. That's reality of what the entitlement programs do. It's very easy to get into them in some cases, but then getting out of it with your dignity intact is not easy. People don't really think about that, but it's true. Once you get into the entitlement systems, they are nosy. I watch everything you do. So I don't want to be involved in that. I'd rather be self-independent. However, I do think I could benefit more from it than me. I don't know. I haven't kept up with Patty on the house thing. But we already discussed this, me and you and other people have said, and Virgo Goddess, God bless her, has said the same thing, is that would be a colossal nightmare. Do not do it. Do not go in with her on this, because of the fact is that it would be a mistake. Which I have to agree with Virgo Goddess on that. I think it would be a mistake. Now, is she going to do it? I don't know. Right now, Stan, she is concerned about what you found out about the so-called bearing false witness, making a false statement. She's really, really worried about that because she's surprised that the judge didn't just drop it. But I asked her, I said, did you really bear a false witness? And she said, no, I didn't. There was some misunderstandings, but the woman wants to push it to the full extent of the law. And she said it's starting to really bother her. And I said, well, I went through the court system too. I said in the past, I know what you're talking about. It's almost like a psychological weapon that they use on you when they have you standing to court. So as far as Patty buying a house, Stan, I don't know if she's going to do that or not. Realistically, she makes less money than me. I don't think she can afford it. I could probably squeak by, but it's with the house mortgage rates going up as much as they are, it's just not the time to do that. Well, I don't have enough of the information. I'm not her attorney. I haven't done motions of discovery. I don't know all the facts. Okay, so I'm not going to judge. I'm just going by what she said. But she, I think is concerned about a few things. That's all I'll say. But in the case of the other issue, Ed thinks Jimmy's gonna throw me out, and I told him, and then he said, Jimmy says to him, according to him, that he has the legal right to throw me out. No, you do not have the legal right to throw me out because you would have to file evictions. It's not that you can force me out. You have to legally evict me through housing court. And the housing court judge is probably going to go, wait a minute, what's this all about in the first place? This isn't even a housing issue. This is an issue where two people have basically have differences that they can't reconcile. And that those two people were friends, and yet, Jimmy, you're renting to two people with two separate rental agreements. The woman has the one that's the longest. She's been there 17 years. Because realistically, the judge might say to Jimmy is, look, you know, if you really want to seriously throw anybody out, I mean, I'm not going to accept your request because Michelle is disabled. You can't really throw her out because she didn't do anything wrong. She pays her rent on time every month. She, you know, does her best not to get in people's hair, which I do. I don't really get into people's hair. I try not to anyway. Sometimes, unfortunately, it does happen because the fact is, I don't know. I just sometimes do. I don't know why. Maybe it's the fact is that I'm kind of naturally nosy. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I wouldn't say I'm not nosy because I can be just as nosy as any other reporter can be. If I sense a good piece of gossip or scoop of news, I'm gonna go on it. I'm gonna go dig it up. You know. I mean, like somebody jokingly said, Virgo is the Nancy Cruz of the zodiac. You know, we'll dig and dig and dig and dig and dig until we find the answers. Why don't you move in with Sherry Heaton? Well, right now she's got another place. She's a Scorpio. Me and Sherry, I don't know if Sherry would be a good candidate. Me and Dory were kind of close, but I don't know. I just Sherry Heaton, I think, would be a friend. I don't think it'd necessarily be a good idea to move in with her. Not in a 2-bedroom anyway, because she doesn't have the money for a 2-bedroom. I think Dory's kind of cuter than Sherry, honestly. I think Dory's cuter. But she's a Libra, and, you know, Libras are kind of like very much have a kind of like is one zodiac person said, they're kind of like the wannabe Leos. They want to have, they're kind of like the follower versus Leo, which is the leader. Libras will follow Leo because the Leos gives a good idea that Libra didn't think of. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but in the case of social media, Libras are very much into social media, and they enjoy the social media spotlight. I just don't know if it would work. I'm thinking more or less I'd really rather be back in my own place, because I'm not really interested in going through this again. I mean, it's just coming to an end. You know, it's like, I don't know what to say. I just feel like it's coming to an end. One of these days, I'm not going to be here anymore. I'm talking about on Earth. You know, because I'm getting older. And one of these days, I'm going to kick the bucket. It's a reality. If I'm lucky, maybe I can live to be another 40 years. Maybe I can live. Maybe I like my relatives. A lot of the other centurions. I could live to be 110. How you doing, Twitch? How you doing, Auto 544RG? I'm doing okay. I'm just New Jersey is possible. Maybe Noodles would love that, right? No. I'm not interested in Jersey. I want to get off the East Coast. I really do. I gotta get out this East Coast. This is East Coast has gotten to be too crazy. This just no way. I was thinking like originally, as I said, like Wichita, Kansas, which is still a possibility. It's as I said, I was gonna plan on looking into it more in March, and yeah, social interaction is important, but unfortunately, Stan, I think what has happened here is that I don't want to go into too much detail, but you know the backstory with it. No. No way. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, that's driving around for one day, and Stan CT said he would go with us. But unfortunately, we never got a date scheduled. And so that's the reason why it probably won't happen. Noodles is renting on a couple of his spare bedrooms, though. Asking how much per month. I don't want to rent a bedroom. I want to have my own home or my own apartment. I don't want an apartment or a bedroom. Look at all the trouble, Stan. Look at all the trouble we're having right now. I don't think that would be a good idea. I do not think it would be a good idea. Well, I don't know. It's just it's just crazy. I kind of wish that I could come up with a better solution than this. I mean, let's see. I looked at the prices of houses for Kansas. Even the apartments are going up. In fact, one Kansas resident said, he said, we used to be cheap. We're still cheap, but unfortunately, because of the situation with the economy, we're not as cheap as we used to be. I don't think so. Rusty will put them in urgent care. He does not like dogs at all. Even though he is about as big as his dogs, I don't think that would be good, especially not with a dog. Rusty likes other cats for the most part. I'd be very interested to see you going to New Jersey and finally you to have a good time. Right now, I think is that maybe me and Michelle K could talk in person because we seem to have a lot more in common than we really let on when we talk. Michelle K seems to be kind of like where I am right now. We're both got injuries, health injuries. That we both have mental illnesses, some anxiety issues. We get along for the most part, and I think it would be interesting to talk to Michelle K, but I think that I'd rather leave the noodle side of it out of it. I don't really, because the fact is that what goes on with noodles and Michelle K is just absolutely weird. The way it goes on. Why does it happen to be that way? Noodles does this strange stuff. So yeah, I think it would be kind of interesting. So what I'm gonna do is I think I have to call up the people of Community Health and Wellness and find out about getting case management, because I think I need it, because we need to come up with a better plan than this, because of the situation with Ed, the landlord, and in fact, Ed keeps dragging the landlord into this and dragging the municipal into this. I talked to the officer, Officer Jessica Rosinski, and she says, "I'm glad that the swatting calls had stopped." She said, "But the truth is, what was going on now in this discussion, it's really not a police matter. This is not our job. The subtle differences between roommates. You guys have got to work this out, because it's not our job to do that." As far as Sherry Heaton, I don't know. Stories between housing. Sherry Heaton is just got into a home or a place to live. It's just lots of photo ops in New York City. Macy's, Christmas window displays, Times Square, ice skating at your walker. All right, I don't know how you would ice skate with a walker. Honestly, I mean, the walker. I am terrible on ice skates anyway. I tried roller skates, and I did try ice skates when I was really young. I don't think a walker on ice at Rockefeller Plaza is going to be something that would be practical. It'd be like the wheels would act as outriggers. You actually would be. But the fact is that they've been defunding the police in New York is the reason I'm concerned, because they're trying to defund the police. Maybe the new mayor of New York City wants to try to refund the police, but the city has a high crime rate. That is a bit of an issue. Also, the high rent costs for an apartment, even in some of the lower income areas like the Bronx, is pretty high. Yeah. But as a case manager, that would have to be able to help me to find something that can be across country or in another state. So it would have to be a person that could hand off the casework to another caseworker in another area. But I don't really know if that's going to happen, because it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And like Nightbot reminds us again, during gaming, I do tend to be hyper focused on the gaming. And the same is true as when I'm thinking about all the BS that goes on in my life. That sometimes get hyper focused, because in some ways my life is like a strategy game. How do you play it? How do you get things done based on the information presented to you? What's the rules of engagement? What are you supposed to say? What are you supposed to do? So yeah, in some ways my life's a game, because it's just like a game. You can play it. The only difference is you can't quietly hit quit when you're done and, being stressed out, and then just go, all right, I'll restart the game later, save my game, come back to it later. It doesn't work that way, but yeah, but my eyesight's the biggest problem. Sure, I can take him down, but the problem is that the eyesight and my hearing is. I was supposed to make an appointment with an ear, nose, and throat specialist to find out what's going on in my ears. I called him up. I kept getting the system to have them call me back. They never called me back. I don't know when they're going to call me back. I can't seem to find a way to reach directly to the office. So I'm going to talk to my doctor, my primary care physician, and ask her, do you have any other referrals now that we have changed our HMO? We are on Anthem Blue Cross now. I changed that over from the older plan because of the fact that this has 0 copays. That means no monthly premiums, no copays to go see the doctor, 0 copays on medications. Fantastic. That's going to be a lot of $100 a month savings right there. That's key. Plus, you get $50 for, let's see, it's like it's $100 every quarter, every 3 months for use of over-the-counter medications and supplies. Okay, you also get another benefit for groceries. I don't really need the benefit for groceries because the groceries, I got plenty of groceries. Yeah, well, maybe I could, but I don't really think it's a good idea. For those of you who have never seen me on Chatterbait, if you have, you know that despite the way I'm built, I still have a very soft lining inside. I'm very, very careful about what I do. I may get gung-ho and excited about some things, but if you ever get to know me as a person, I'm not really... I don't know. So, legally, does Ed have a legal leg to stand on? No, actually, I don't think he does. And like the Officer Jessica said, he does not have the legal right to throw you out. That's the landlord's job. The landlord has to make that decision, but it has to be for a reason that's justified. And he said to me tonight, he says, "Don't forget, this is half my apartment." I said, "No, technically it is a third of your apartment. Because I pay $800 to your $400, plus I pay the utilities." Why don't you stream this kitchen cam on Twitch during busy hours? Stan, the reason we don't stream the kitchen camera was the only reason we streamed this kitchen cam in the first place originally was for the turkey dinner thing, and that worked out to be a giant, big, fat, nothing burger. Now, people don't realize that, like I said, on Thanksgiving, we ate Thanksgiving dinner at 2 in the morning, because we decided not to basically wait until in the afternoon of Thanksgiving. Maybe that was a better idea in the long run, because of the, if you watch the stream enough, you know that I was getting very emotional and very worked up. And, the holidays are not really my greatest thing. It says, people like to watch that kind of stuff. Yeah, they do. They do. But at the same time, I don't know. I think that in some ways, I think my life has plateaued, if you will. I think that originally we were talking about doing Satan's Kingdom, which unfortunately for Yule, I have no idea what the weather is going to be exactly. I think if I'm getting the impression from Mother God, it's not going to be rainy or snowy, which is good. But at the same time, yeah. Now, come join us. So just typing to Krista. She saw my message, and so I'm not sure what we are to do. YouTubers live now live on your channel. Yeah. It says, well, the thing is Ed is not into that IRL stuff. He hates it, actually. He's like, oh my god. It's like a guy who's got a camera in my face. It's like Michelle's always recording everything we're doing. Well, Jessica didn't say anything about a restraining order. She just basically said, is YouTube gotta work this out amongst yourselves. I think that's kind of a little bit extreme. I think that, as Krista can verify, Ed has been talking smack about me on Facebook. And it's causing me a lot of harm and a lot of damage. Now, like I said, one person that called me up on the phone, sent me a text message or email. He said he was trying to say that another YouTuber was sending out the trolls. I said to him, I said, you don't really understand, do you? I got trolls IRL too that basically that know me personally that have been trying to say bad stuff. It's not just YouTube. These people are focused on one thing, like you said, which is the destruction of the channel, but also the destruction of me personally. Because the fact is that they know, or they think I'm easy target. And the problem is I'm not such an easy target because, but their emotional, behavior is starting to get on my nerves. I did tell Jimmy on the phone today. Ed isn't assaulting me, but I'm in this to finish what I was saying. Is I explained to Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, we need a better place. We need a better arrangement than this. This isn't gonna work. Ed deep down really wants his own place. He wants his own apartment. Can't you find him someplace so he have more room, that he could do his own thing? Because he needs his own place. I've been here 17 years. I've already established myself, but this is starting to take its toll on me. I need my own place. But I already have a place. But and Ed's thinking that Jimmy's going to throw me out and have him lose $400 income. Actually losing $800 money. I'm sorry, he's going to lose over $800 to throw me out in the street. And I don't think he's going to want to go through the court case money to file evictions and throw me out. I think for him as a landlord, that's a loss that he's going to have to amortize into the next tenant's rent that comes in here. And second of all is that if Ed wants to keep this apartment by himself, he's not going to be able to afford it. Ed thinks that Jimmy's just going to find a new roommate to move in here. There's only one. Oh, there won't be any bed because I'm taking my bed with me. I'm taking my furniture with me. So basically, which means I need to save up for that so I can get my furniture into a storage bin and then get it into a moving truck and then send it to wherever I'm going to go. Because I'm not going to lose my shit, period. And I mean, of course, the computers are going with me too. So, and the internet's going with me. And so he's going to have to deal with that. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going to have access to the stuff that I used to have because Michelle's taking it all away with her. Right, so you're going to have to get your own furniture, you're going to have to get your own bedding material, and whoever Jimmy finds as a roommate is, you better hope that you two can get to work it out together, because you're not going to be able to kick me around, because I won't be here. I'll just leave. Ed should apply for senior housing. I talked to him about it, Stan. I have already talked to him about it. He doesn't want to listen. He has less income than me. But he does not want to talk. He does not want to deal with housing. He does not want to talk to them. So you can talk to him about it. Well, you can. I don't mean to drag you through this, but I mean seriously. I mean, next time you come up here and you guys hang out together, you can discuss it with him, because this is, again, you know, I've already tried, and that. Well, I'm not. I know. He's not. I don't know about him, but me, I'm not really a beggar. I'm doing my best I can. I'll make it ends meet. But in the case of Ed, like he said, quote, if I had to pay more for rent, I wouldn't stay here. So maybe Jimmy should raise the rent up a lot. Maybe he should tell Ed, well, you know what, my bills are going up. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to bring your rent up to $800 a month to match Michelle's rent, and then have Ed go, well, I can't stay. I can afford that. Then move. Move. You can't afford it either. So if I ever throw Michelle out, guess what? I'm not gonna let you stay there for $400. No crazy way. That's not gonna work, because now I have to send my crew in there to fix up the place, and then you're gonna want roommates and all this and no. Like the truth the girl said, there was a guy. This is a reality with Jimmy. This is another one that's doing the same. There's this guy that has been in an apartment for quite a few years. He's handicapped. Okay? Apartment is falling apart. Now, even if this guy was in Connecticut and they saw this, they would definitely tell the landlord to get off his stuff and do it. Fix it. The cabinets, the apartment has been seriously beat up. It's electrical hazard, wiring sticking out of the wall, broken light switch. And they would tell the landlord they would tell the landlord, you got 30 days to fix these violations of building code, health and safety, and if you don't, well, then we're going to fine you and maybe even do judgment against you for a violation. Apparently, in the state where this guy is, and where this truther girl is, there's a state that doesn't really normally push that. What's like Jimmy is he doesn't really want to spend a lot of money fixing major things, or even, Jimmy would fix an electrical outlet or a switch, but don't expect him to go out there and necessarily replace the kitchen floor. Which is something, like Jimmy said to me as well, you could always do that. Yeah. His cognitive thinking process isn't all there. If you get evicted, how is that going to pay the bills alone? He can't think that far ahead. Ed needs mental health services. To be honest, yes, he does. Yes, he does. But unfortunately, he doesn't think that way. And He said, well, I was thinking about having you manage my money. I said, no, I'm not doing your books. No way, Ed. I mean, giving you advice now and then is fine, but sitting there and being Miss Payee for you, no, absolutely not. I did that for you, Willimanic. You drove me crazy. I'm not going to do that again. No, this is your baby, you know. You have to feed it. You have to nurse it. You have to take care of it. This is your life. You know, you want this stuff. You want to be independent. That means that you have to take the initiative and get on the phone, call the people you have to do, and straighten out that. It's not me. I'm not getting in the middle of this. This is not even fair to me. I couldn't believe he would even ask me that. It's like, you want to be my payee? No, I do not want to be your payee. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. Now, as far as the other things that we were talking about, which is maybe a little bit dark, but still kind of dark, is the back to the way I'm built. This body was built for two souls, a male and a female soul, which is fine. We already know that. And as the way he said, talks about me sometimes. That's why I went on Chatterbait and I did the full expose. Most people don't know this. But it's because he kept saying all that. And I said, well, you know what? I'm tired of having him say all this. Let's let the audience see what they're really dealing with. A majority of the people on Chatterbait were actually kind of interested because they were like, wait, it says right in your description you're an intersex hermaphrodite. That's it. Now we know what that is. Well, why don't you talk to Stan? I know. Why don't you talk to Ed about that? Man to man. Which is that you're really hurting Michelle. And you're not really thinking about what you're doing. Oh, Michelle, we're saying, oh, Michelle is this bad person. Michelle's not a bad person. She's trying to do her best. You gotta stop thinking you're trying to hurt Michelle. It's kind of scary, actually. I think it's what I know about the statistics right now about a lot of the homeless people. A lot of them have fallen through the cracks of the system, which is badly broken. I think that Ed is one of those people who just about is right at the crack, and he doesn't know he's going to make that next step into the hole. I think he has to do something different, or he's gonna, like so many homeless, he's gonna fall in there. He's never gonna be able to get out. Like the pitcher plant example. Here you are, this little housefly. You're just on the lip of the pitcher plant, and your little feet are about starting to slide. And when you do, you go whoop, you're gonna go right into the pitcher. And then the plant is going to digest you for its nitrates. That's the reality of it. And unfortunately, people with mental illness are often the ones that fall into the hole, especially those that later develop substance abuse problems. They really fall into the hole. It's not exactly a good thought. It really is scary. And I don't know if people really think about it. Because they're all being told, oh, all homeless are mentally ill. But no one really explains, says, well, how did the mentally ill get here? After all, it has to start somewhere. And what I understand is this, is that a lot of them don't want help for a variety of reasons. Some of it's because they think or perceive that they're not going to get the help that they want. Well, wait a minute, the help that you want. Let's define the difference between a want and a need, shall we? If you want, for example, to have 3 meals a day, for example, that's a need actually, but some people get wants and needs mixed up all the time. If you want to eat steak and lobster every day, well, that's a want. Not a good healthy one, but it's a want, okay? You need to have a place to stay. You need a home. That's a need. You want to live in the Ritz-Carlton, or you want to live in the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan. That's a want. Not a realistic one, but it's a want, okay? Big difference. You need clean drinking water, but you want Perrier. It's interesting. People kind of mix up the needs and the wants all the time. They always do. It's like, I need internet. Oh, but I want the best, fastest, badass, most powerful internet for $75 a month. Okay. How much you want to throw out there for Mr. Cadillac Internet? And they'll give you a number like, oh, I can maybe pay about 70 for about 5 months. What about the rest of the time? And so you go, are you kidding me? You're like, you want that top of the line Cadillac Internet, everything, the whole enchilada, and you only want to pay that much money, and so you think that they're going to give you 2 gigabit fiber optic internet, sight unseen for 3 years, and you're going to be paying. No, it doesn't work that way. So consummation is circular. Well, you tell him this then. You want to start a business, Ed? Come up with a realistic business plan. Come up with the issue where you're going to get the capital. You need to have enough capital for business for at least 1 year of operation with no profit. Which means that if you rent a space, a storefront, let's keep the math easy because Jimmy does have one downstairs. Let's just make it even 1,000. That means that you have to have $12,000 put aside just for the storefront for 1 year of no profit. How much money is your average electric bill? Given what the prices are now, you're probably going to be paying close to about $160. So that means that's another $1,600 plus the $10,000 on $12,000 on the rent. No, maybe more than that, maybe less. So let's just say it's about $20,000 plus you got to get your tin, and you're going to need revenue. You're going to need inventory. So you're talking realistically to plan for the first year of no profit. You're going to need to realize that you're going to be planning to put away about $20,000 to $30,000 away in the bank for your business. That's not something he has the money to do. He said, well, maybe I can get loans from the Small Business Administration. Yes, you can, but they're still going to want you to put something towards it. They're not going to go ahead and go, wait a minute, you want to start a business with nothing? You want to start a business with no money? How are you going to do that? That's not the way it works. You got to put money aside. You're going to have at least a couple months of capital. You're going to have a solid business plan. Please remember that most small businesses will fail after the first year. Over 50% mortality rate. If you need to remember also, it's the sole proprietorship. Your own personal life is invested in that business. If something goes wrong, they're going to come after your ass for the bills that your business owes. Is this a 24-hour stream? No, it's not. It just happens to be I ended up getting up. Originally I was going to play World of Warcraft with Skynet. And then he unfortunately went to bed, I guess, because I got up later. Am I into blow-care? Blow-care? No, nothing like that. Business plan, startup capital, etc. requires cognitive thinking, which Ed does not have. Exactly. Exactly. And he said it. He says, you got a good head on your shoulders. You're smart. Okay, fine, thanks. But I don't want to be in the middle of your business beeswax of trying to figure out how you're supposed to make this happen. And he's not. I mean, this is also something that Pepper Princess said, too. Some people don't understand this. They don't get it. You know, she says, one of the things my channel does, and I'm talking about her channel here, Pepper Princess, is I've been working with investment people and, doing seminars and watching seminars, others talking about how to, get a piece of the action and being well-to-do financially. The truth is that some people don't have what it takes to do that. You could say that. Queen of YouTube on both sides of the equation. You're right, I think, on both sides. And so, trying to drag my landlord into a personal issue between two roommates is ridiculous. Dragging the Winston police involved in the middle of that is even more ridiculous. Because the Winston police were like, why are you calling us? This is not a police issue. This is a roommate issue. This is a roommate matter that should be discussed between the two of you. And yeah, I know, Queen of YouTube. I agree with you. But, I don't know all the background of him. I don't know why he is the way he is. I did say I would not get too much into his personal issues. I won't. But just to try to have him the one to have him ask the landlord to throw me out. It's a bit much. Absolutely. I'd love to. I'd love to. The thing is I don't know of anybody in this area that's like that. I'm a hustler. I'm a go-getter. If I feel motivated, and I say motivated is, I don't feel like I'm basically being put through being put through a meat grinder and basically being turned into sausage links. I can be very motivated, but if I feel that I'm wasting my time, no. What do you know about Ed's prior? He had a couple of stays at a couple of asylums. So yeah, I do know about that. Stay in Natchog and Willimantic, the stays in Florida, the stays. He told me all about it. I already know about that. It's just to say is that it doesn't look good on his record either, because it's like, okay, why is he coming back here constantly? Because the truth is that a smart person looking at his files and goes, he doesn't have a case management team. He doesn't have a case management team because he keeps refusing to accept it. No, Randall, there's no reprogramming. The truth is that Ed has a learning disability. It's affecting his his ability to cognizant. I mean, like you said, Stan, he wants to start this business, but then he doesn't realize how much is involved in starting a business of any kind. YouTubers may have the lowest cost of entry, but don't think it's that low because YouTubers still have everyday expenses. I mean, sure, I'm streaming from my apartment, but if you think about it, I still have to pay the electric, I still have to pay the internet, I still have to buy the equipment. Okay, and once you get all that stuff done, also I don't make a ton of money. I mean, I'm lucky if I bring home maybe in 3 months about $200. By the way, let's talk about something regarding YouTube and 1099K forms from our from the Internal Revenue Service. This is going to start in January, so for some people, this is probably not going to be a big deal for personal transactions, but for as Brian from a CPA on YouTube has mentioned, here's how it means for people who are YouTubers. If you make over $600 a year in transactions and they're not listed on PayPal or CashApp, PayPal only uses PayPal because that's how I get paid, okay, from YouTube. If you do transfer money through PayPal from a friend to a friend and you tick the tick box that says it's a gift, they don't process a 1099K form on that. If you are paid by YouTube and it goes into your bank or into your PayPal, then they will process a 1099K. This is because that's considered a business transaction, which under the new terms of the IRS means any yearly income of over $600 a year is going to create a 1099K. Okay, now this, for YouTubers, that just means, just like it sounds like, is you're getting paid by YouTube, it's going, or in my case, into my bank. My bank may very well send me a 1099K. Okay, you're making this much amount of money, it's going to your checking account from YouTube, from AdSense. Now, YouTube and AdSense normally send your tax information to the Internal Revenue Service anyway, so this is normally not a big deal. What it is that people are saying, well, what if I get a donation from a friend and on PayPal? And let's say, over the year, maybe he's been nice enough to send me, say, $1,000 as a donation. I can think of a couple of people that wouldn't be in this league. As long as they check it's a fair gift, there will not be no 1099 generated. But if he forgets to check that tick box and says this is a gift, then it's probably considered a business transaction and you will be incurring a 1099K, which means that it has to be reported as income on your internal revenue form for the IRS when you do your taxes. Normally, no big deal. I don't make much money at all on YouTube, so really, maybe I'm lucky at the end of the year I might be bringing home about $1,200. No, I don't know anything about small engines. Was right out and restore it and give it at Christmas. No, Ed knows more about two-strokes than I do. I mean, I watch enough automotive engine videos to basically give you an idea. I know something about it. That some small engines will have a premix system right where the gasoline and the oil is mixed before it enters into the carburetor, instead of having you to mix the oil and gasoline yourself. In other words, it uses a ratio system to mix just the right amount of oil, two-stroke oil with gasoline to provide proper firing. It should reconnect with his daughter. He tried. And his daughter said, I'm sorry, but you're not on my friends list. I said, so why don't you ask your daughter that into her friends list? And he's like, screw that. Well, and maybe she didn't think about it. Well, all she has to do is to say nicely, say, Jennifer, please add me to your friends list. I do want to be kept abreast of what's going on and keep in touch with you. I agree that it's a travesty to remain estranged and not fight to get his family back. I think deep down that bothers him. Even though he doesn't say it outright, I think it bothers him a lot. He's like, what am I supposed to do? Well, first thing you should do is you should be fighting tooth and nail and let your daughter know that you still do care for her and her well-being. He said, I saw a picture of my daughter's new boyfriend, and he said, this guy is not a winner. He looks like a scruffy gang member, drug user, punk. I'm like, okay, maybe he is. I don't know. You can't tell your daughter, who is now an adult of majority age, that she cannot have a relationship with somebody like that. I mean, it's bad for that person. I agree. It's a terrible deal, but it's, as a father, I understand it irks you to no end. But, you know, she's not you're not her conservator, you're not her power of attorney. So, you know, she chooses to, but she's, like he said, but she's got a steady job, she has a steady income, and, you know, she's gonna lose that because of, yeah. But again, I don't want to get in the middle of it. I just don't. It's just, I don't. I just feel, yeah, it just feels kind of lost a waste of time. Well, here's one thing that's good to keep in mind. We are reaching out here to you guys this morning, as I said. For those of you who came in late, I see we're up to 12 people. Is that me and Krista are going out tomorrow to go to Walmart and get some. I'm going to get some extra underwears, some extra socks, and maybe find an inexpensive nightgown. Unfortunately, I don't get paid much from Patreon, but I got enough to get some gas and stuff. So, but you know. So, as far as what I also covered earlier, Stan, is if Ed was to try, or Jimmy was to try to drag this to the housing court, I think that the housing court would say, this doesn't make any sense. You've had her for 17 years as a tenant. You know she has multiple handicaps. You like her money. She pays on time. Had raging addiction, personality, or he will switch. He's not into Old Milwaukee's best, but I do am concerned that he is going to get into something a little more dicey. He doesn't seem to understand that he's doing himself a grave disservice. He could do that. Or maybe if he can get his daughter to be at least be willing to give him a mailing address. Maybe he can mail her a care package of things that she might need for the home. You know, he could ask her nicely, say, Jennifer, what kind of things do you need that I could probably get you? You know, do you need certain household cleaning products? Do you need certain things like that I could get you? And I think that would be nice. But, you know, I don't know. He just doesn't, I don't know. He just doesn't think it through. If that makes any sense. It's just, he doesn't think it through. And then he wonders, oh, well, you know, like, why am I going into the same old problem? And the sad truth is that just another issue with people with his disabilities, mental disability. And also, it's kind of true with people with autistic spectrum disorder as well, Asperger's. Sometimes we don't see the repeating behavior. I try really hard to keep my eyes out for things I've done, good or bad, And I try to, if it's a good thing that has been productive for me, I will bring it up. And if it's something, stemming, I'm sorry about that. I just, if it's something that I know that is not good for me, I try not to do it. Like, try not to bite my fingernails, which, unfortunately, given all the crazy crap going on, yes, you're right, old Randall, you are absolutely right. It is a shame. And it's hard on both of us. Because we see, just like the housefly on the edge of the pitcher plant, he's about to slide into the plant's digestive juices and be turned into a meal. It's scary. I guess it's better than being on a Venus flytrap, which basically you don't even realize that the Venus flytrap is like a bear trap. You think it's just a regular plant, all of a sudden. Actually not that fast, but it's fast enough that for a mosquito and it's not looking, all of a sudden see, close it like that. All of a sudden the digestive juices start, and your dinner. Pitcher plant is more secret because it's like just it looks like a cute little plant, like a daffodil, and all of a sudden you fall on the edge like, oh! All of a sudden the digestive juices do what they do, and they're gonna chew you up, and they're gonna grind you up, and you're gonna become lunch. You could be the person that tells the fly, maybe another fly who saw another fly die. Don't go there. That's not a good plant for you, because that plant is mean and it'll turn you into breakfast and you are going to be dead. That unfortunately, I can see that stupid stubborn fly go. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not gonna fall in. I just want to see what's going on down there. Bad choice. The fly warns you, and you decide to go check it out, and all of a sudden you became the next victim. I think actually with the pitcher plant, I think a fly can at least fly out. An ant, not as much. A cockroach, forget it. Cockroach. How many times have I found roaches in my cat's water dish that I change every day? How many? It's like, what does the roaches think? Do they think have scuba gear? I mean, they are a water bug, right? But every time they're dead in a water dish. It's like, doesn't a roach understand? You see, now for those of you who don't know how a roach breathes, a roach has these little holes on the side of its carapace. There's a gas exchange between the roach's rudimentary form of lungs, if you want to call them that. They're not really lungs, but they're looks like a thin membrane with a roach's blood that's like an ichor that bathes these little tiny microorgans into this thin membrane. Obviously, some things can get through the membrane, such as oxygen molecules, and carbon dioxide can leave. But unfortunately, I guess once, in some cases, like city water, particularly with high levels of chlorine, it's going to get in there. It's going to kill you. No, I have not seen the Gangs of New York. I've seen part of Titanic. Yeah, I guess it is. But on the other hand, I don't really have much else to do. Because, as I said, I was going to play World of Warcraft with Skynet around 11 or around 12 tonight. I woke up around 12:47. No, I was just trying to kind of make up for the fact that we're not going to have a morning show at 10. Because I was hoping to play World of Warcraft, because Gardner originally wanted to do World of Warcraft at 12 midnight. And, I was so tired. I just slept for longer than I expected. Yes, tap water is fine. Our tap water is fine. We have the landlord long ago replaced a lot of the pipes They originally were sweat soldered with lead, with plastic piping in most of the building. We also still have some old cast iron water pipes, but those are pretty much rusted out, so we took all of them out. The city replaced all the water mains with plastic water mains a couple years ago. No, not always, Gothic. Sometimes I do. Depending on how I'm feeling. And I just felt a little bit depressed today. I just wanted to do something with my time. No, normally I'm up at 8 o'clock. I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then then I'm live and up until 5, 6, 7 at night. Then I go back to bed after Ed wakes up. And I sleep from 7 until whenever I get up. In this case was about 12 midnight. 12:47 a.m. I didn't actually go right to sleep though, because I did watch a couple of videos when I was in the bedroom. And that's the way we do it sometimes, because that's the way I feel. Normally, this is my summer routine. But this year everything's been backwards because the last few years, because of we do the morning show in the morning, and during the summer routine I would be asleep from 6 a.m. until about 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon, and I would get up and do my stuff, and then I'd be up until about 6 in the morning again. I go back to sleep. Next day, same thing, get up at 2 o'clock. That's my summer routine. But this year, I've been doing my winter routine year round. So, which is I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I go to sleep. Normally, if it's just by me, by 10 o'clock at night. And so that's the way we normally do it. But like I said, I was getting pretty upset this afternoon, and I didn't want to stay up all day. I was hoping to get some World of Warcraft in, because I agreed this guy not to play with it. But I didn't get up in time, and so he thought I already went to bed, which I didn't. I didn't go to bed, so without long time, I went to sleep for a few hours, but then I woke up again. Here I am. I haven't done anything on Chatterbait lately, because last time I was on Chatterbait, I was like, I remember after I did the full expose, that a lot of people got angry at me. Tiger Kitty was upset about it, particularly, and what she understood and way that it kind of pushed me into that. Alright, Stan, I will give it to him. I'll also send it to him on the Teos. That's Trainman Ed's official server. If you don't have it, I will give you the link to it. I think so. Unfortunately, some of the people, yeah. Well, we just discussed it on Chatterbait. We gave the full expose. And as I said, that made some people feel like Botter said, now the trolls don't have a weapon anymore because you basically took it out of their hands. Now everybody knows what you got. Now you made a public statement. You made a statement clearly, appropriately on an adult forum, and they cannot, and they can't use it as a joke on you anymore. But the thing is that I would have said to Botters, I felt I had to do it, but honestly, I wish I wasn't built like that. I really wish that I mean, this body was built for two souls, a masculine soul and a feminine soul. I'm the female soul, Lumi's the masculine soul. So it's built for two souls that have different needs. Lumi has tried living as a woman in quite a few lives. Just as I tried living as a man in a few lives, and I didn't succeed anywhere as a man. And she didn't succeed very well as a woman. And both of us want to be our true genders. Okay? Now, Lumi doesn't mind when I keep going her she. She doesn't mind that at all. She doesn't do she's been called she enough times that she doesn't care. But the thing is, it's so hard for some people to understand is that that I truly would like to establish a nice relationship with the right person that loves me unconditionally. Seriously, nothing like that. But, I have a couple optional accessories already at the factory, which made sense when we originally designed this body in our life chart because of the factors that Lumi wanted certain things, I wanted certain things. My mother guy said at the time is, please understand, Larry, that because we don't like to bring two souls together when you're born because it creates all kinds of problems, that you will be joining Michelle later, because this is Michelle's life. Now she's going to have to make that decision to invite you in if she chooses to. If she chooses to, you guys will be together. If she chooses not to, then you guys will be separate. And you'll continue on as her guardian spirit guide. So, that's just the way this life chart was signed off on. But part of me still says, why is the 21st century, all this stuff going on, are some people so wrapped up with this stuff, this gender stuff? I don't understand it. I know the old saying sex sells. I get that, yeah. But the thing is at the same time, you're trying to just eke out a basic living. And then some people say, did you hear about this? Did you hear about her say this? Did you hear her say this? It's just weird. It's like, and then you have Ed with his equivalent of his baseball bat sitting there going, thinking he's going to try to beat me senseless over something that I already decided to make it public officially, and I made it public officially on Chatterbait because I said, you know what? You guys really want to know what I got? Here's the whole enchilada. Here's the whole package. Now, nobody can use the biology weapon against me because I just showed you publicly on a public forum that's appropriate for this. Now you've seen it. You see what I've got. You can see everything. You got boobs on the top, got a female body on the top. You got some masculine parts downstairs. Big deal, So bite me. It's not like everyone doesn't know. Maybe I didn't bring it out in a good way, but it was the appropriate forum. At least I did that. If I had done that on YouTube, I would have been a greasy spot on the sidewalk for sure. You know that, right? Speaking of that, I gotta use the bathroom real quick. So I'll be right back. And by the way, yes, I do sit to pee. I do not stand. Don't even ask me to try that. I can't. I just can't. It's only about this big. It's only this friggin' big. Right here. To this knuckle. That's all it is. That's all it is. You're gonna try to pee out of that? Good luck. We live in modern day Babylon. Southern Gomorrah. You know what, Stan? You're right. You're absolutely right. Let me make a quick run to the bathroom. Oops, I forgot to unplug the cord. Speaking of that, what you just said is discussed in the book of Revelation, the Apocrypha. Okay. And let's put my translation of what it said. How the great Babylon the Great has fallen, or more precisely, Babylon the slut, who basically markets all wares and stuff of debauchery, evilness, dirtiness to all the other nations of the world. How great you have fallen, old great Babylon the slut. You have basically lost everything. Now the men and women who ship products to you are saying, who's going to buy our electronics? Who's going to buy our DVD players? Who's going to play our CD players, our cell phones, our sex toys? Who's going to be buying all of our nasty stuff that we make for your markets, oh Babylon the slut? For you have basically now have gone dark as you've been incinerated, because the Almighty God has smote thee with the force of many, many angry flame torches. Oh, yes. And I actually do seriously wonder what about the innocent, poor people who live in Babylon the slut? They're ones like me who have never done anything like that on purpose to try to be so bad or so debaucherous or evil. I'd rather have just tried to eke out a basic living. For the Bible says that thou shalt, it is recommended that thou shalt live. Based on the story you said about Sodom and Gomorrah, when Lot and his wife were suggested that he leave Gomorrah or Sodom after he tried to ask God to spare those people that would leave. I'm sure, and of course, he focuses mainly on that story, focuses on Lot and his wife, but there were probably many others that Lot had asked to leave Gomorrah as well. And, well, unfortunately, some of them did and some of them didn't. And we do have evidence indeed that there is a calcium buildup where the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah is, a calcium buildup, i.e., a calcium salt, which may have been a result of a thermonuclear device that was used to vaporize everybody. So many people don't want to hear what the stories of the Bible is saying. Okay, but we do have evidence. We did find Sodom and we did find Gomorrah, and we do have evidence, and indeed that there are pillars of salt there, which are very much likely were human beings at one point. just really, really scary. It is a fact. So for those of us who live in Babylon the Slut, I don't know what to say. I mean, we know the final tribulation's coming. But some of us are stuck with no way to get out. Now, part of me says that since the Almighty God, Yahweh, and Mother God Asna really truly love everybody, I don't think those people who are really innocently stuck here are going to be treated to the same courtesies of becoming a pillar of salt, but rather maybe spared some of the worst, but maybe will still be a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth. Definitely. I don't think that's going to change. But I wonder what's going to happen with people like Ed, who clearly are actually part of the problem. I don't know. I think he's going to be one who's going to be doing most of the wailing and gnashing of teeth. Because he realizes that he basically fell into the pitcher plant, like the poor innocent housefly. Ed wanted to see what was going on down in the great pit of the digestive juices of the plant. For those of you who don't know, the enzymes in the digestive juices of a pitcher plant, what I understand, is pretty effective for what it does. I mean, it's a carnivorous plant. Its own plant's life is to get a meal when to make up for the nitrates it's not getting in the soil. That's why they are carnivorous, because they have to make up for the loss of the nitrates that they're not getting in the soil. The soil is nitrate poor. You'll never find, at least not really, you never really will find a carnivorous plant in a nitrate-rich soil. In fact, anybody who actually knows anything about plants could tell you it's like looking at plants that are there if your soil is going to be good for farming or not, because they can look at it and say, oh, I see a Venus flytraps, I see pitcher plants. This is not going to be good soil for farming because of that reason, because these nitrates are not there. So you're going to be using a lot of fertilizers to make up for what you have not got in the soil. Let's see. I bring up Bible scriptures. All of a sudden, everybody disappears. Ain't that life around here? On the other hand, let me just say this. It's, if there's one thing you cannot deny that has been successful over the 2,000 years, approximately, as the number of Christian denominations of the church multiply like rabbits. And they are, unfortunately, often taking the Lord's supposed to be word and conforming it into something that is for their own beliefs. I was raised a Roman Catholic. Originally, I was born a Lutheran. I became a Catholic later on through RCIA. But either way, I still believe in the Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. I still believe in it. I still love the Catholic Church. But I also understand that in essence I have outgrown it, because of the fact that there are so many fundamental truths that I'm not getting. The same thing with the evangelicals. How many times can you be told the same message, regardless of pastor? They will constantly drag out the same old sermons. They can use the same sermons from 100 years ago in an evangelical church. It is going to still be the same message. That God loves you, but He wants you to be perfect. He wants you to live a clean, chaste life and to be perfect. It doesn't change. Sure, some of the stories change a little, but the real basics don't change. Like you said, Stan CT, that we live in a modern day Babylon the Great, as I call it, the Babylon the Slut. But so many people don't really want to hear that, as it's too disturbing to think, oh my God, that we are still doing the same old crap over and over again that was being talked about by the Miller Knights in the 1840s. And we're saying the same thing, the same message of redemption. And it's like, you can hear it so many times, and then you start to wonder, is there more to the story than the standard preacher man is talking about? Because I think there is. And I said, Mother God, let me get to the details. Let me have the juicy bits. Where is the rest of the story? Because, the preacher man sits there thumping his Bible, saying, you have to do this, you have to do that. And that some people say by predestinations, oh, guess what? My Father, God, has already determined who's going to go to heaven and who's going to go to hell. It doesn't matter how perfect you are, because you're going to either go to one or the other. Wait, God originally created hell for the demons, those who betrayed God. Why would God, according to predestination, want to send innocent people that truly love Jesus Christ, the Son of God, and send him down into the gates of the fires of hell, when they have done everything they could to be perfect, but just made one stupid mistake, and all of a sudden they're gone? The same predestination group do not believe in confession, do not believe in absolutions of sins, and basically go, you're doomed, man, because you slept with someone else's wife. Well, what if the guy wants to repent and say he's sorry? Maybe it was a bad mistake. He had one too many beers. Kind of like in the song there, Almost Persuaded by Boxcar Willie. Okay? Almost Persuaded. This woman comes, or like in You Picked a Fine Time to Leave Me, Lucille. Or Kenny Rogers. You mean to tell me that poor guy who realized that he made a mistake is going to go straight to the fires of hell because he made that one mistake and he later repented? Maybe in both cases, I don't know anything about the story writers or songwriters, but let's assume they were Roman Catholics. The guy would probably go, and maybe wouldn't mention in the song, but after his triest, he probably would go into the confessional of the priest and say, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned because I slept with another man's wife because I was drunk and I didn't really think about it. And then he came in and he was pointing out that he was badly hurt because she walked out on him. And I didn't do anything, but, I feel like crap and I just, wish God would, forgive me. Of course, it's nothing more blessing than the pastor says I, through the power of the Holy Spirit, absolve you of your sins in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Sin no more, and for your penance, and watch this say 10 Our Fathers and 10 Hail Marys, and don't do it again. That's God that I know. I don't see God as a mean guy with a weed whacker ready to chop down innocent people. Sure, maybe the guy who basically doesn't care, he might get a bit of a rude awakening, but the one that truly felt bad is not gonna feel that way. How you doing, Brian K? How is this the proper morning show? Actually, God didn't create heaven, the devil made hell when he was cast out of heaven. The heaven. Okay, now let's talk about this. Heaven. What is heaven? Heaven is definitely not here. Okay, we say it is above Earth, but everything is above Earth. Okay, you got the stars, you got the planets, you got the universe, you got alternative dimensions. Maybe heaven is an alternative dimension that is just out of phase with ours, that we can't directly interact with it. But the angels may have the ability to dimensional shift into our heaven. That's why we haven't seen any other planets yet with known confirmed life on them. It's because we're out of phase with the rest of the universe. We're like in a playpen, or like in a little playpen. We can only see so much through the wooden slats because that part of the playpen is just one room. We're not seeing the other rooms of the house. Okay? So maybe once we get to be a certain age and we continue to mature mentally and spiritually, then we will finally be let out of the playpen and start to crawl around the house to explore everything around us. And I think that's what's happening is spiritually and physically. I don't think humans have matured yet to where we can go out there and do that at all. I think we have still stuck in a playpen mentality, which kind of makes sense. During those days, people will seek death, but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will elude them. That could be a dark area for YouTube to discuss. I would love to discuss it, but YouTube may think I'm endorsing something I'm not, so I won't go into that. But I do know the scriptures that you're talking about. And on the other hand, then there's those like me who have continued to try to do the best we can despite the fact that the system keeps kicking us when we're down. Trust you and me, it doesn't take much. Just kick my bad kneecap and you'll see me go falling. And I'll definitely hear a lot of cursing too, but basically I would eventually, after the pain subsides, I'll get up and go, what did you not go out for? What did I do? You know, I'm standing again. So shall I show you what I can do with my good knee? Or would you like me to kick you with my bad knee? Which wouldn't hurt as bad, because you wouldn't have much force behind it. Yeah, YouTube is funny. Because YouTube, you can't talk about certain things on YouTube. It was a silly song on the radio when I was a kid, because you can't talk about this on the radio, because then you got these bleep sounds, like too controversial, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's YouTube. YouTube is like that. You can't say certain things on YouTube because they will say it's too controversial. Yes, sir, your stream has been removed because you were referring to a very controversial topic that we do not approve of. Right. So, then what are we allowed to talk about YouTube? If we can't talk about those things, do you think Ed will regret his choices when he's finally... I don't think he's going to go to hell. At least not directly. I think that this is his first time on Earth. He has not been here before. He's a new person. So when he goes home and he does his intake, I think that him and this very frustrated, ignored spirit guide is going to sit down with Mother God and Father God and say, okay, here's where we were. And of course, they're going to ask him, they're going to open up his life chart. Did you achieve this goal? Did you achieve this goal that you set for yourself? And that's how it works. That's what the intake process says. Jokingly, it's talked about in a comedy movie called Defending Your Life, which is still a funny. It's not like that. It's not as structured as it is in Defending Your Life. Basically, it is somewhat similar to like an intake. You go through, you sit down. Well, you're actually spirits, so you don't literally have to sit. But we're going to keep it in the human parlance and understand this. So you're sitting down, your spirit guide. Now, me and Lumi's spirit guide is Mother God herself. So, for us, the problem is, prior to me and Lumi joining, she can speak as a spirit guide. And then after that, after we got joined on Beltane in 2011, she would have to speak as my spouse. and not as my spirit guide. So it just gets crazy. So probably Mother God, in our case, will probably hear the hearing completely from beginning to end. But because she's our spirit guide, that means that she's biased. So they probably would have to have another person to act as the reviewer, educator. It might be Father Yahweh, which would normally usually leave that to Mother God, but he would have to probably interact in this case. But when a normal single soul person goes in, what you do is they look at your life chart you wrote before you went to Earth, and they review it. And they say, okay, I see you are focusing on trying to establish a family, raise a child. You chose to have handicaps in this life because you want to learn certain things about being handicapped. And the outcomes can go anywhere from you have done a great job, perfect, great. Okay, you can choose to go on. You want to go on to another life, or do you want to stay here for a while? Because you can always come back later and go to another life later on. There's no pressure, okay? Or do you feel that maybe you need to redo it, or give it another try? Maybe make a little bit less work for yourself. Maybe you picked on too much than you were ready for. Remember now, you are now got full cognizance of what your life chart was, because it'll be restored to you at the time of your death. And that is when a lot of people who die, they're like, oh my God, I had got it all wrong. Or, why did I think I was going to be able to do X when I can't even do Y? What happened yesterday? Who said you win? Stan says, all inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life. The Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world. Yeah. That brings up what happens for the dark souls, which I will discuss. The dark souls, they do not have free will. They, many cases, unfortunately, once you get conscripted, and I'm going to use the word conscription because it's exactly what it is. It's like you're giving your marching orders. You're told you're going to go here. You're going to live this life. You're going to do this goal, and that's it, maggot. You're it. That's it. And when you die, you come back into the recruitment center. We're sending you another life that we choose. You don't choose. Whereas Father and Mother Gods are like completely different. Is you can choose. It's like being in the modern military. You can choose to do this. You can choose to do that. You don't have to do that, but you can choose that plan. Where Mother and Father God believe in free will, they want you to be able to make your own decision. Before you come to Earth, there is free will. You make that decision. You choose to do it. It's that simple. So, like I said, after you had your intake, they might say, well, I decided that maybe I need to work on this charity thing a bit more. I think maybe I didn't show enough charity, or maybe I was a little bit too harsh on some people, and I need to redo that. So you might rewrite a new life chart, and you don't have to go into it right away. You might actually say, well, Mother God might say, well, why don't you take a couple of months over from going back to Earth and look, go to the spiritual retreat, think about everything we've talked about here, and then when you're ready to sign on to go on for another tour, you can do that. Okay, some people choose to do it that way. What do I think of the whole situation that happened yesterday? Personally, I think that bringing Winston police in is kind of stupid, because the poor police, like the officer said, Jessica Rosinski said, this is not a police matter. This is not even has anything to do with police. Michelle never talked about all the details, Ed's ins and outs. She respectfully just addressed that the problem is that the sleeping accommodations is stressful, and like Brian Case says, Michelle is getting bags under her eyes. She's starting to look like she's a little tired, a little worn down. Yes, Michelle is. She's really would benefit if she could find a place where she can go ahead, relax more, not feel like she has to be in a fight or flight mode 24/7, and that's kind of what it feels like. So as far as what he said to Jimmy, I would never say anything like that to my landlord. And I'm surprised Jimmy didn't tell him, Ed, this is not appropriate for me to hear this. And you don't need to talk to me about your sexual procedures or what you do and all that. This is not my decisions. It's not proper for Ed to go out there and tell Jimmy about his sexual needs, is just so inappropriate. If Michelle said if I was a landlady, I would probably tell him straight out, Ed, I don't want to hear this. Okay. But he seemed to lack discernment to say, well, I don't need to go into detail on everything I do in the bed. But let's just say is I feel like in some ways that Michelle is unintentionally saying things on YouTube that she's not saying. For some reason he wants something. But deep down he doesn't know the best way to achieve it. If that makes any sense. No, it's not what the Snow Queen Palace is meant to be. The Snow Queen Palace is meant to be a place where Michelle could still enjoy her stuff, her activities. She does care about Ed. She still does care about Ed, but the sad truth is that I don't think Ed cares about Ed. But that's not Michelle's fault. Ed is still stuck in this. What are you looking at? I'm just curious if there's a screw underneath here. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. I gotta. Why don't you just get yourself a new mouse, Michelle? Holy crap, this thing is beat. I know. This thing is beat up. This thing is worn down, tired. Yep, this thing needs seen better days. So Michelle really loves being with people and talking to people and having a good time. And just like Officer Jessica said, is your friend has a right to have her show with her friends. It's part of her social thing, and that she should not be told that she cannot have her social program. It's important to have a social environment. You got to feel like you belong somewhere. Do you think Ed will be fully accountable for what he did to his daughter? Theoretically, we didn't do anything to his daughter. He was there for her when she was a child. He was there for her. But the sad truth is that she has made some decisions on her own which he doesn't approve of. I'm not going to get in the middle of this. But he loves his daughter. He cares about his daughter. But he feels, or perceive it perceptually, that she doesn't love him. I don't think that's true. I think he's just making it seem like it's worse than it really is. Right, yeah. What? On the other hand, Stan, and you know this, working through the court system, the judge is probably going to say to Jimmy, especially Jimmy tries to push the evictions, you can't throw Michelle out. She pays her rent on time. She is a quiet, for the most part, Michelle's quiet. You don't really hear much Michelle. Michelle doesn't talk to anybody. So what would be your excuse? Well, it's month to month. Yeah, that you chose not to have a lease, but month to month still doesn't mean that you can still throw Michelle on the street without a justified reason. I mean, you have to come up with a solid reason. I mean, has Michelle ever been late with the rent? Yeah. But we worked it out 2 years ago. Okay, you worked out 2 years ago, and then she's been paying rent consistently since. Yeah. Oh, okay, so you have no valid excuse. You can't throw Michelle out. Does Michelle smoke? No. Does Michelle do drugs? No. Does Michelle drink excess? No. Does Michelle have strange people coming in at weird hours at night? No. Does Michelle done any physical damage to the apartment? No. Then you have to give. You would have to kind of work with Michelle on this because she is handicapped. I mean, if you want her out, yes, theoretically speaking, you can say, well, you know what, you need to go. But because Michelle is physically handicapped and it's documented, I'm not going to allow you to force an eviction. But rather, you will need to work with Michelle and make sure that she can get into a safe environment. And that's my final say. So Michelle may be allowed to stay there for months until the spring. But then she said she'd like to go to Wichita, Kansas. So in that case, that means that now as a judge I'm going to say is you're not allowed to collect rent from Michelle for months. She has the right to take that money to pay either to the court, or she can go ahead and leave it in the bank and use that to save up for her move to Wichita, Kansas. In that case, you get zero. You get stuck with all the court fees and associated with serving papers. And guess what? That's not good for you. And so Jimmy really doesn't going to gain anything by that. Jimmy's going to be a lose-lose. No landlord wants to be in that situation of lose-lose. They actually, 17 years tenant. You're going to throw a 17-year tenant out on the street because somebody else doesn't like that 17-year tenant. Landlord's main focus in life is money. He's going to lose money. He's not going to gain by this. So if Jimmy and Ed thinks that Jimmy's going to let Ed throw me out in the street. No, Ed, you don't have the legal right to throw anyone out in the street because this is a shared apartment with 2 separate leases. You have no legal right to throw Michelle anywhere. That would be up to Jimmy to do. But then again, if Jimmy did throw you out, he's going to end up throwing you out in the end because you can't afford the apartment. Ed thinks that Jimmy's going to find him a roommate to take over when Michelle leaves with all new furniture. And that's not going to happen because Michelle is going to take her furniture with her and it's going to have nothing, not a pot to piss in. And he's going to sit there going, well, I have no furniture. So then when he comes in with his big fancy king-size bed and says, okay, yeah, since life, Victor, how you doing? So I'm going to have to move into this apartment with this other guy, and he doesn't bathe much, and he drinks too much, and he complains a lot, and now he's demanding that I fix my internet so he can use it. He wants me to set up my internet because he wants to use the internet because the last roommate that he threw out in the street basically took the internet with her. I got a hunch that the landlord is going to be like, this ain't going to work. Yeah, fine. The dysfunctional daily stress will continue until one of you leaves the apartment or drops dead. You can simply and quickly put Ed at this place with a restraining order. Ed's lease is illegal. Well, Jimmy, like I said, is going to have to realize that, and that's another thing. Jimmy knows this. If he brings this up to housing court, the judge is going to look at him and say, Mr. Landlord, what you're doing is stupid. You have a 17-year tenant that has been here, paid rent on time, is physically handicapped, and is a legal agreement and pays the bills, versus a friend that originally the way it would be is that the friend is supposed to work with the other person to share the expenses. Instead, you enter into a separate agreement with that individual, and now that agreement says that that person doesn't have to pay for any utilities at all, except nothing, except buying groceries for themselves. The judge might just say, you know what? I'm going to throw this whole case out in the dumpster. This isn't even discussable. I don't know. Maybe Mr. the landlord, maybe I should move your case to criminal court because you're violating laws and not good for their tenants at all. Which means that you will have to deal with getting an attorney, a public defender, an attorney to speak in your behalf, because this is definitely patently illegal with Ed, and Michelle is legally right to be there because she's been paying rent the whole time. This doesn't make any sense. I've been up trying to wake up. Yeah, we were supposed to play World of Warcraft at around 12 midnight, and then I overslept. I woke up at 12:47, and so I thought maybe you might have still been up. I guess not. This is very sad. It is very sad. It is beyond sad. So like I said before, I was thinking maybe in March of moving to Wichita, Kansas, which I still might do that. I wish Ed the best of luck. He's not going to be able to handle this. He can't financially handle this. There's no way he can take care of this apartment. There's no way, even if Jimmy won his case, that Ed is going to be able to financially afford this apartment. Because he doesn't make enough money. He's not going to be able to get the internet on in his name. He's not going to be able to get the phone on in his name. He's probably not going to be able to get the electric on in his name. And even if he does, he's still basically, to me, he's not going to let him rent for $400 frickin' bucks. Because Jimmy might just say, all right, Ed, you got Michelle up. Sorry, rent's going up to $600 a month. Fork it over. Yeah. Fetching about the police being called, etc., but she refuses to do the one simple thing, which would, in us, just drama feeling restraining her against Ed, thus forcing him out of the apartment. Things will be worked out through Michelle. Wichita is a big idea, though maybe kind of a smaller idea for now. Yeah, I agree. It's a bit far away. But yeah, I definitely think that's true. But I definitely want to get out of this state, because this state has got its own problems that I do not understand. Why is Connecticut so crazy? It's so expensive here. It's expensive everywhere. It doesn't really matter where you go. You could go to a hole at the bottom of the sea, and it still costs you a fortune for rent, because somebody out there is going to say, well, guess what? This is private property, so you want to go here, you're going to have to pay me, more than 50%, 60% of your rent. Oh, why don't you figure $1,500 a month? Because that's what it's going to be about when actually, I can tell you exactly what it's going to be because of the cost of living adjustment for me. If you look at I got 2 text messages. Let's see what they say. From Krista. She says, I sound really horrible. I don't know if I still want me to take you shopping. I have a raspy voice and I'm all stuffed up. I don't know if you still... Yeah, I do. Yeah, I still do. I still do. Is I need to get out and talk. And talk and get some small things. Things at Walmart. It's Walmart. Okay. So Krista's not feeling well. Yeah, that's again is where a city like Wichita, Kansas does have support for the blind. They have a lot of supporting programs. The only thing is it's gonna cost me more money to get out there than I have right now. Well, actually, honestly, I just don't understand why Jimmy doesn't just tell Ed, look, it's not working, okay? Why don't you go back to Florida if you want? And Ed saying, well, I like it here. Well, if you like it here, then why you fight me? No, why you fighting Michelle? Why you fighting Michelle? And it's, I think, as Stan, as you will know, the housing court is more than likely is not going to endorse any valid reason to throw Michelle out. Yes, I know they do. There's no place in the world that's perfect. There's no place in the world that's perfect. It doesn't matter where you go. That's absolutely true. You can go anywhere you want. Nothing is perfect. Nothing. She refused. First of all, here's okay. As far as the restraining order, let's talk about this. Excuse me, Stan. I already said that I already applied and asked for social services work with the community health and wellness. All right. I haven't heard from them. I'm going to call them back on Monday or Wednesday because they're open Wednesday. I'm going to ask him, can we get something straightened out because the situation here is becoming unattainable because of the variety of issues that keep being dragged up. As far as going for, I'm concerned for my safety, which is what we have covered before, that Ed does not have a very good head on his shoulders. He tends to do stupid stuff. Well, Frankie, I don't know if it'd be that smart, but yeah, you know, so many resources for someone like Michelle's case. To a point. The problem is that where I live is really small. It's only 77,100 people. So you're not talking about a major city here. You're talking about a small little suburban community. Doesn't really have a lot directly accessible. But I think it's like I said earlier, as far as Ed saying, Jimmy said that he could throw me out. So I would say, Jimmy, Ed says to me, Jimmy did not say this because I was on the phone with him. He did not say this to me. He said, this is what Ed said. He said, Jimmy said he will actually agree with me just to let me throw you out. Excuse me, Ed, but do you realize that you do not have the legal right to throw me out because I have a separate agreement with Jimmy? But then again, since this initially was my apartment and I had been here for 17 years, the housing court is going to go to Jimmy. You need to give me a good justification why we should throw out a 17-year tenant for a tenant that's only been there 2 years and a patently illegal lease that you wrote to let him move in with her. They might tell him, sorry, he's got to go, not her. She hasn't broken the law. She hasn't done anything wrong. Also, we're moving this case to criminal court. Ah! I mean, then Jimmy would be up with neck in trouble. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's manipulating. Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, he thinks he can trick me. Which is why he keeps thinking it's going to keep working. And in essence, is a bully. He's the kind of bully that steals your lunch money and then basically gives you wedgies. And then Ed says to me, oh, and Krista's tired of hearing about your shit. No, Ed. First of all, you make me sound like a monster. And I don't talk to Krista about all this. I know, for example, like Krista right now is not feeling at the top of her game. I still got to get some things done tomorrow because I have two reasons. I mean, they can do them within town. We can do short run. We don't have to go to Torrington. First of all, I need to get some more Tide laundry soap. Okay, usually I buy the powder because it lasts longest because I can measure out exactly what I want. Plus, it's also lighter. Walmart sells it in the box. Okay. Second of all, is I need more underwear. I need more underwear because of the fact is that some of the underwears I bought right now are too damn big. They're way too big from when I was fatter. And I'm skinny, but I lost a little bit of weight. So, I need to get some more underwears. Okay? And I did say to Krista I would take her to Wendy's. I'll pay for the lunch. I'll pay for the gas. So, she knows I will provide for that. Instead of calling social services this morning at 9:30, she talks of calling them tomorrow, which is obviously won't do. Same old Stan. Me and Krista decide to call them tomorrow, which is Monday morning. That's fine. Okay? Yeah, I think 9:30 is tomorrow. I keep forgetting about the wraparound and the time. After all, it is 4:41 a.m. right now. I just need to get out of the house for a while. Let's see. Let's see if I can say we could make it a fast in and out. Fast in and out. Out. If Dollar General sold Tide powder. Sold laundry powder. Powder. Now, skip lunch, skip lunch, okay. Skip lunch. Get tobacco companies. Cumbies. tobacco, and gas. Hold on, tell me what's Krista. And gas at Cumbies. Okay. Those I recommend are literally mutilate. Yeah. Oh. So you will call later today. Yeah, wait, no, that's the reason I wanted to try to get a break. But unfortunately, I can't afford to stay in a motel for a few days. Otherwise, I would do that. Well, unfortunately, right now, that's still not going to solve the long-term problem, Brian K. So, like I said, I can call up Community Health and Wellness and talk to Dr. Lee's people and see if they can refer me. Also, I need to talk to Dr. Lee's people anyway because of the fact is that the ENT doctors, the ear, nose, throat, I have not been able to reach at all. I tried to call through the number. I don't know which buttons I'm pressing. That's the wrong extension or whatever. But I'm leaving voicemail, but they're not calling back. Or please note, for those of you who don't know this, maybe you do know this. What happens is because some people do have my personal phone number, they are constantly calling my phone number all hours of the day. I have this phone set to silent. I do not hear it ring, which unless it's somebody that's in my contacts list. Okay, unfortunately, there is no longer a voice captioning of my email or my voicemail. I don't know what happened to that feature, but it doesn't work anymore. So I don't know what's being said. So I have to listen to the messages, and sometimes I don't know the people, and if I don't recognize the phone number, I don't call them back. Well, I think I said one time what the truth, what was going on is still valid, which is there's a fear factor, which I've already said that repeatedly. So there's a fear factor here. You know, people saying evictions, some people saying, you know, protection orders, things like that. And just like I said, if you go through and you file a protection order with the police, then number one, the police may give you the protection order, but the court is going to go, well, wait a minute. You guys are living in the same place? How am I supposed to enforce this? Well, we can't. Yes, I'm afraid of Ed. I'm afraid of Ed's craziness, especially when he starts doing stupid shit. He can be really stupid sometimes and do things that he later regrets. So I don't want to get him on the bad side. Well, unfortunately, like I just explained, Brian K, is that there's a fear factor here. I'm afraid. Okay, I'm afraid of getting hurt. I'm afraid of him going postal and doing something stupid. I don't really feel comfortable getting in the middle of this. I need to be I need a place I can safely get away from the harm. This is what he talked about Susan B. Anthony. I'm going to say this again. If you are concerned for your safety, get out. Go somewhere. You cannot enforce any kind of protection if you're living in the same place with this person. It's once you're out of that area, once you're out of the danger zone, once you're out of the potential combat zone, that's when you can do something. Which means you need to get the tools to get away from it. You can't do it when you're still living in the combat area. That's why reasons why I have said that it makes sense to get away, or at least for right now, hold the peace until I can get the resources together. Yeah, I could do that. If he does anything physically violent, yes, I can. That's another reason why he doesn't like this channel, because unfortunately, if he did do anything violent, it's on camera. They know it. The police will know it. The police will be here in minutes. I'm assuming they're not busy. But what also was said, and Susan B. Anthony, is you, me, should also not be afraid to call a friend. Get away from the problem. For now, get away from the problem. Pack your shit. Just go away. That's when you can start to recover emotionally and start beginning the next process to get away from the abuser. If you can't do that, then you're stuck. Yeah, I understand that. Because, like I said, it's affecting me, it's affecting my channel, it's affecting everything that I do. Good people like me who have done nothing wrong have always been tried to be model American people who try to set an example. We don't have a backup plan. We don't have the resources. Please understand what this channel was meant to be was meant to ways to share information, share skills and sets and all that. What happened was very simple. Donations dried up. The money that would have been available for paying for a hotel room or for whatever isn't there anymore. It's not there anymore. There's money for a security deposit for an apartment. It's gone. There's no money. And that's the reason why it's also a tragedy. All the work that was done on this channel to become financially stability and have that independence is just gone. It's not there. Because some people, I don't know all the names, it doesn't matter who the names are, have said, do not donate to Michelle. Do not donate to Michelle. She's not worthy. Do not donate to Michelle. I got to shower and go to work. That whole plus hour therapy session will cost you about $250. Victor says it's a good idea to start coming up with a game plan. You need to set up date, and he's to leave by. I think it'll be easier for me to leave before he does, because of the reason that it's for my safety. I still think that is definitely a reality. I think for right now, I need to be out of harm's way. I think me and the cat need to be out of harm's way. To enable WD. What's WD? No Dean, no donating enables you to enable WD. Well, okay. So, alright, so how does that benefit me with no donations? I don't see how it benefits me. It doesn't benefit Ed. I can't get a judge is not going to give him a restraining order. Because the minute he sees that restraining order, he's going to go postal. It is far safer for me to have the sheriff deliver an order not to be in physical hitting range when Ed goes postal. Okay? Do you understand the dangers we're talking about? We're talking about a man who can get very, very, very violent. Not good. Not good. I'm not going to risk my life to get a restraining order when I'm in hitting range. So, again, there's a safety issue here. It's still not being addressed. So, they have to go back to work. Please don't get scared. We'll come up with a game plan we'll come up with a game plan for me to get me into a safe environment where I feel I can go to the next step. That's what I need. And like Susan B. Anthony said, if you have to get away from the guy, don't. Maybe. But right now, the way Ed thinks, he thinks he has the upper hand. But legally, he doesn't. So, anything else you want to cover? It is getting late. 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 2 seconds. Let's see. This is Mrs. Crystal. Let's see what she says. She says, "Okay, see you at 9. It might be some. Okay, just ending live stream now. Just getting ready to end live stream. Well, maybe ready to end live stream. Okay, to end live stream." I really wish it was World of Warcraft, but unfortunately, I have some cough medicine. Okay. And cough drops. Okay. So, Sin, I think you don't understand that, right. I think Ed is going to leave, but Ed also is right because he said he went multiple times and he wants his private life out of the show. You move in with a streamer that is doing what she does best, and so you know that her whole life is, it's a small apartment. You got people he's doing things on one side, I'm doing things on another. He's sometimes streaming on his channel, I'm streaming on my channel, and sometimes we kind of clash each other unintentionally. I remember the one show when he was doing his night show, when I was doing my night show at the same time, actually a couple times, and it basically irritated people because saying this, we don't want to hear a Michelle show because we can hear Michelle talking in the other room. That, at the same time, we want to hear your show. Conversely, the same is true. Sometimes he's doing things on his sessions. I'm getting them on my sessions. Of course, the difference is I've gotten pretty good at feeling to filter out a lot of it. Unfortunately, state in Connecticut does not have a stand your ground law. If it came down to that, yeah. Alright, guys, please, as much as depressing as this topic is, could you please put some likes in the like jar? would like to do some more happy content, and I might do something this morning, some World of Warcraft gaming. That's gonna be another stream because, yeah, it might be easier to do another stream completely separate from World of Warcraft. Um, we do not see snow yet for this year, which is very depressing because I've really been looking for some more snow, and I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing the kind of snow that makes me happy, and it's making me sad. Um, every time I keep thinking, see snowflake icon come up on my phone, then the next hour later it's gone. And it's like, for example, today says there's a 90% chance of precipitation, a high of 10 degrees Celsius. Wednesday shows 90% chance of precipitation again, a high of 13 degrees Celsius. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a high of 9. Friday, sunny with a high of 6. Saturday, cloudy with a high of 4. And Sunday, cloudy with a high of 3. Same thing for Monday and Tuesday. And Wednesday shows 50% chance of rain, high of 4. In other words, I'm not seeing anything close to right for this time of year. And that's making me very depressed because I so much love winter, and I still do love winter. I know it doesn't feel Christmassy, it doesn't feel magical, it doesn't feel like the earth has put its little blankie on it, all the snow to cover all the earth so it can sprout, new life can sprout forth in the spring. It doesn't feel like that. The earth feels like it's ill prepared for what's going to come, and it feels that way. Earth feels lost. Yeah, just it feels so sad to feel that way. But if you guys, all 3 of you or 5 of you watching this, could please put some likes in the like jar, I really would appreciate it. The morning show. I don't know why, but the morning show the afternoon show we did today did not have that many likes. It really didn't. Actually had a lot of dislikes, way more dislikes than likes. This is ridiculous. I was looking at this, all the statistics. Everybody says, please show your likes in the like stream. And I did. And instead of people seeing, realizing that, hey, she needs more likes, this content is not necessarily the greatest, but it is indeed what it is. They show has absolutely, it had the views, but it only had 3 likes out of, it's better than it was. This morning was 1 like, but it only had 3 likes and 2 dislikes from the morning. Oh, that's this show. This now, the morning show. This has 11 likes and 2 dislikes. Wait a minute. I'm confused. 2 dislikes? Wait a minute. Okay, they had 3 likes, 5 dislikes. So, like I said, I had the likes on the screen. I decided, you know what? This is just bullshit. I'm not even gonna bother put the likes up anymore because of the fact that this doesn't make any sense. Really, it doesn't. People, you like to use the dislike trolls, will take advantage of those likes and dislikes. I don't like the scoring system. I don't like the way that works. Okay, I really don't. Yeah. Don't forget the one difference between me and that, by the way, is the fact is I worked hard to get those so-called pythons that you're talking about, because the fact is I do a lot of heavy lifting and heavy working. Remember, one Michelle is pretty much a large living mule. That's what I am. I'm a mule. I am the person that used to haul stuff from place to place. That's what I did for a living all day long. Would be moving stuff from place to place, picking up stuff, dropping here, picking up stuff, dropping there. That's what I did every day. Every time I do a live stream, I had to look at all the gear. For example, for the Yule Convocation we were going to do in 2016 was the same deal. 2017, I think it was. We and Dory were going to bring all the audio gear downstairs, the lights, the sound system, the microphones, and bring everything downside for the Yule Convocation, the tables, the candles, the incense burners, and well, it rained the day before. It was still raining on Yule that year. And so we didn't do it because of that reason. We had it planned, I had it all set to go, but it just wasn't meant to be. So that says a lot. Is that, you guys say, oh, Michelle, it's, it's just not really fair, but it's true. Alright, guys. So, you got your morning show. It got really early, but you got your morning show. Okay? Chris is not feeling great, so don't expect her to go on and do a major spiel about doing content and stuff. It's probably not going to happen. So she's, maybe I might do a quickie video with her, but it's not going to be a live stream. Again, it's just going to be just a quickie video. But for now, oh yeah, by the way, you probably might be asking yourself, are you ever going to fix this camera in the front? Yeah, you know what? I would fix this camera. It's going to cost about $350 to do it. $350 to fix that camera. So they would have to basically send it to Apple Care again, and then they will have to fix it. I didn't do that last time because I just wanted to get the battery changed because the battery was severely deteriorated, or I was afraid the phone was going to burst into flames. Now we're talking about $350 to replace the camera, which you might say is, well, why don't you just get another phone? Yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't you get another phone? That was what I was thinking originally, and I might still do that. But anyway, let's do something more exciting. So let's end this session. Please put a like in the like jar. Please share this with your friends and family. Please help us out here if you can. And for now, I'll see you guys in a little while. I'm gonna get some World of Warcraft in. Maybe I'll do live streaming on Twitch. We make a live stream on YouTube. It doesn't really matter. But that'll be another story. Alright, talk to you later. Bye. This is like a 16-inch grinder. Hope you're hungry because you're going to be eating a lot of it. No. I don't need them. Why would I want to have to put money into
I know you don't need it. Well, because you might want big whoppers.
These are the real deal, baby. These are real.
But you wouldn't want, you've seen Rosie. I mean, they're massive.
I know. But then again, we also see, like, other people that got those things. What happens is after you get to be a certain age, everything sags. And of course, we have the tools of trade, the fame, the calendar, the clapper. Let's call the spirits back real quick.
Gauntlet 1 versus fight.
That's how we take care of those pests.
Ow! Oh, that's gonna hurt. Alright. And thank you very much for watching. Stay out of trouble, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning, normal time. Yep. Okay.